Good morning, everybody. Today is the day that Zen returns to eventing after about 9 months of rehab. So I'm extremely excited to see how he gets on today. I have very few expectations. I'm just taking him to poodle around Solihull 80. And I'm hoping he will poodle around. If we can have a fairly calm, but above all, very confident and cheerful little horse, I will be thrilled. Really, it's just to get that rust knocked off and see where we're at. Coming out of rehab, but I'm so excited and so happy to have him back. Look at these little munchkins. Jimmy has pulled off his fly mask.
It's quite a change in life for you, isn't it, from a racing yard?
It is. Certainly a slower form of life, the way that he treats it.
Yeah, not exactly.
All here and ready to go and tackle some dressage. Okay, Zen's dressage, and what a start! Straight down the centre line with a spook at A. But in its defence, that was the main spook of the whole test, so I will take that. I'll take the hits as they come. In general, you can see in particular in that corner through the test, he was a little bit more tense and spooky. Don't know what it was about the corner. It's fine, because actually, like, on the whole, he's moving quite nicely. He's swinging quite nicely. He is attentive. His little ears are flicking back to me a lot. And just look at that tail. That's a really nice tail swinging away. I think I would like him to start developing more advanced paces, so I'm looking really to have more engagement behind and generally more collection, but I wasn't really asking for that this day. This was a badly organised canter strike off. I did not prepare him well at all, which is my bad, and as a result, you know, this canter's fine, but it's a little bit strung out, and in patches we lose a bit of balance. And to me, actually, it all comes back to that canter transition. Because if you don't set up the canter right, you're not going to have a good canter. But anyway, we survived the canter, we lost a bit of balance in the transition outwards, but he settled very nicely and came back to me quite quickly. And you know, this is all very nice work. I'd like him to be a little bit more raised at the base of his neck and a little bit more soft over his neck. That was again a moment where he was just a bit tense in that corner, and that canter strike off was better. Again, it could be improved with a bit more engagement. A little bit on the shoulder, on the inside shoulder there. And I think actually in general I could be a bit more relaxed through my leg. My hands aren't quite a pair there. I just need to be a bit more like settled on him. Again, lost balance a bit out of the canter there. I think where the tension comes in a little bit from him, just that bit of tension makes our work a bit more green, which is totally fine. Again, my focus for this test was that actually he was fairly calm, which he is. And you know, that was very clear in this free walk on a long rein, where particularly the second half, he's got a really nice stretch. He's tracking up very nicely. It could be a little bit more consistent in the stretch, but actually it's really quite a nice free walk on the long rein and a happy, relaxed horse. So I think that's kind of testament to how he was overall, and you know, he's obviously in a very good state for his first test back in so long. I'd like a slightly clearer rhythm there. He's not quite lateral, but it's not a great 4-beat pace. And short, not the perfectly straight transition, but actually quite nice and obedient. Lovely swishing tail for where he's at. Okay, wobble into the downwards transition, but again, not a bad centre line. He is a green horse, and I just thought that was actually a really, really nice, good test to start with. I'm extremely pleased with Zen's dressage.
Obviously, I say this every time, obviously a lot to work on, and a long way off perfect, but he definitely built confidence and became more relaxed as the test went on, and bearing in mind it's his first in like ages, I thought that was pretty damn good.
Okay, Zen's show jumping, and as you can see, he's a very good boy and he's jumping very nicely. But I'm going to be a bit critical of myself here because there were patches where I was a little bit strong in the hand. I actually was trying out a new bit, and I think it was possibly a case where I reached for a bit instead of assessing and working on my canter and the general way of going. And then the other thing I think I did was slightly abandon him, because where he's a little bit tense and a little bit onwards bound, his poles come up and he's gone a bit stiff and unsupple through his back. So really what I should have done is I should have encouraged him to drop his pole a bit and just soften and be a bit more bent and upright of the shoulders. Very nice jump. And I didn't really step up to the plate and do that. But to be fair to me, we're both a bit rusty. I've not been out on him for a while, so this slightly caught me off guard. However, Zen is really happy, he's really confident, he's enjoying himself. We're actually hitting the jumps on very nice strides. So yeah, actually it's a really nice round, just that I've got a few things that I personally now need to go and work on. And it's just been good to get a grip on where we are.
I was so pleased with that. Look, I got a great hat line again. Yeah, I mean, what a cool way for him to come back. He just kind of cruised around. He was jumping really well. I felt like in the warm-up and in the ring, he was, you know, being careful, forward confident. As, you know, my voiceover will say, there's stuff to work on, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Got my number, didn't I, before I put my hat on? Nothing ever changes, does it?
Wow. Onto cross country, and he set off out of the start box and was generally a very keen, happy, confident bean. Now the first couple of jumps, especially the next jump you'll see, were right by the collecting ring, and this jump was away from the collecting ring, so I was a little bit cautious about just really making sure of them all. He was a little bit hanging back at the previous jump towards the ring, but it was fine, it all worked out fine and there were no problems. And then he was just off. I mean, he's so happy through the water, he's just kind of bowling on. He was a little bit sensitive about changes in colour on the ground, so just where the surface changed or similar. But again, if you remember from my training video, that's a problem we've identified and we'll look at working on both on the ground and under saddle. But again, very nicely through the water, slight drift to the right, it's fine, he'll get more confident, and lovely back out. And yeah, just look at him go. Absolutely cruising, just exactly what I'd hoped for. And unfortunately, we didn't get many more jumps, but that's fine.
Sounds very suspicious, I must say.
Well, it looks like it's got chocolate and caramel, so
We'll go with that. Thank you very much. In case you hadn't guessed, I am very, very pleased with him. I thought, bearing in mind the lack of preparation, he went out there and smashed it. And sure, he could be a bit more confident in terms of being away from the other horses. I thought he was hanging a bit to the collecting ring, but like nothing bad. He was fabulous. So yeah, very good start to his season.
he's about to spread hay all over your life.
You really are an apple fiend. So Zen ended up with a 31 dressage double clear, and he actually got about, I can't remember how many, I want to say 3.6 time penalties cross country for going too slowly, which doesn't feel right, but it doesn't matter because I am really pleased with how today has gone. I think it's a really good start. There were absolutely moments where he was a little bit tense, a little bit spooky, maybe not entirely confident, but for the most part he was happy, he was calm, he kind of knew what he was up to and just cracked on, and yeah, I can ask for more. I had to turn around because of the sun, but have a wonderful weekend. If you're up to anything horsey, I hope it goes well, and yeah, see you next week.